Dear students, you are welcome back to STR Shivarajan's teaching room. In the last episode, we were discussing about the different aspects of reproductive health. And today, in this episode, we'll be discussing on medical termination of pregnancy, what we call as MTP. What is MTP? Medical termination of pregnancy. So this term you have to remember because many a times MTP has been asked for expansion. So MTP means medical termination of pregnancy. So when you think of MTP, we have to bear in mind, we have to remember some important 5 points. The first one is, what is MTP? Intentional voluntary termination of pregnancy before the full term. So what is MTP? MTP means medical termination of pregnancy. What is medical termination of pregnancy? What is it? It is the intentional voluntary termination of pregnancy before the full term. What is the full term of pregnancy? 272 to 80 days is the full term of pregnancy. But before the pregnancy matures, in the early stages of pregnancy, we intentionally, purposefully terminate it, remove the pregnancy from the uterus. Intentionally, we want to do that. So, intentional, voluntary. Voluntary means by self-decision, not by compulsion from any other point. So, intentional voluntary termination. Termination means removal. Intentional voluntary termination of pregnancy before the full term is called medical termination of pregnancy. It is also called as induced abortion. You have heard this word abortion many a times. What is abortion? If a lady is carrying in the early stage of pregnancy, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months like that, what happens? Something unfavorable situations develop inside the uterus. As a result, the implanted blastula or the fetus is removed from the uterus. So that occurs naturally in some cases due to some inconvenience that develop inside the uterus, that we call as abortion. But here the abortion is induced abortion. What is induced abortion? We induce, that means we make the situation inside the uterus like that so that the pregnancy is removed. There is induced abortion. So what is MTP? MTP is the intentional voluntary termination of pregnancy before the full term. It can also be called as induced abortion. So the third point is MTP plays a role in decreasing population. See, it's a blessing in disguise. MTP is a blessing in disguise in terms of decreasing population. See, about 45 million means 10 lakhs. 45 million to 50 millions of abortions, that means MTPs, is carried out every year all over the world. See the huge number, 45 million, that means 4.5 crores. Then 50 million means 5 crores. So 4.5 crores to 5 crores MTP is being done all over the world. So that much population is being reduced by MTP. So there may be a question in the exam, that is, medical termination of pregnancy or MTP plays a role in decreasing population. Discuss on this point or evaluate this point. So how can you put the answer? Every year 4.5 million to 5 million MTPs are being done all over the world. That means every year 4.5 crores to 5 crores of MTPs is being done. So in that sense, it reduces that much of birth. So population is decreased by MTP. Then in India, MTP is legalized in 1971. The government of India has passed some laws. In 1971, the government of India, the parliament has enacted some laws so that there is a control in the MTPs in India, because India is one of the India is the country where the most MTPs are done. So India is the number one country where the MTPs are at the highest level. So in 1971, government of India enacted a law to control MTPs. And in India, MTP is permitted. MTP is permitted with strict conditions. So in India, MTP is legalized with strict conditions. These conditions we will see later. So in some places, MTP is used with amniocentesis. What is amniocentesis? Amniocentesis is the process of determining sex of the fetus through chromosome pattern from the amniotic fluid. So in some places, MTP is used with amniocentesis. Amniocentesis is the process of determining the sex of the fetus. And the importance is the sex of the fetus is determined to kill the fetus or to do MTP if the fetus is a female one. That means there are certain places in India, or there is a tendency among the people to destroy the female fetus because they don't want a girl child. Such tendency, such bad tendency is there in the society. So in some places, MTP is used with amniocentesis. Such practices can be fatal to the mother also. So these are the 5 important points when we think of MTP. What is MTP? Medical termination of pregnancy. Can you give a definition for this? Intentional, voluntary termination of pregnancy before the full term, and can also be called as induced abortion. And medical termination of pregnancy, or MTP, plays a role in decreasing population. In India, MTP is legalized in 1971 with strict conditions. In some places, MTP is used with amniocentesis. Such practices can be fatal to the mother also. So these are the 5 important points we have to remember when we think of MTP. Now we will see the third point. What is it? Plays a role in decreasing population. So I have mentioned something about this. That is, every year 4.5 million to 5 million MTPs are being done all over the world. As a result, that much birth doesn't take place. So every year, on account of MTP only, nearly 5 crores of birth doesn't take place. So that much population is brought down. Then legalizing MTP in India. In 1971, India legalized MTP. That means everybody cannot freely do MTP, but MTP is permitted with some restrictions. What are the restrictions? What are the conditions under which MTP can be permitted? 1. What's the condition? The pregnancy is the result of a rape. The pregnancy is the result of a rape. In such cases, we should not support that pregnancy. So that pregnancy can be terminated. That is, can be, MTP can be done in that case. Second is, continuation of the pregnancy is harmful to the mother. Suppose the mother is having some serious other health problems and she was not supposed to carry, she was not supposed to become pregnant, but she became pregnant. So that continuation of the pregnancy may be harmful to the mother. In that case, MTP is permitted. Sometimes the mother is okay, healthy, and she is pregnant now, but the fetus is not having good growth. That means the continuation of the pregnancy is harmful to the fetus. In that case also, MTP is permitted. And sometimes the continuation of the pregnancy may be harmful to the mother and to the fetus also. There can be a situation like that also. So the second condition is the pregnancy is harmful to the mother or fetus or both. So what's the condition? The pregnancy is harmful to the mother or to the fetus or both. The third condition is, there is a third condition. What is it? Unwanted pregnancy. Unwanted pregnancy. What do you mean by unwanted pregnancy? Suppose there is a family, a father and mother, they already have 2-3 children and they do not want a fourth child. They already have 3 children. Let there be boys or girls or whatever it is. They have 3 children already. They do not want a fourth child. They take all the precautions in their life not to have a fourth child. They use contraceptives, they use the other techniques also, periodic abstinence, then coitus interruptus. These mothers they adopt, but unfortunately she became pregnant again. So that pregnancy they don't want also. Such cases can be termed as unwanted pregnancy. So in that case also, medically it is, lawfully it is permitted. So what are the conditions under which MTP is permitted in our country? There are 3 conditions. First thing, the pregnancy is the result of a rape that can be terminated. The pregnancy is harmful to the mother. Continuation of the pregnancy is harmful to the mother or harmful to the fetus or harmful to both the mother and the fetus. In that case also, MTP can be permitted. The third is unwanted pregnancy. So the father and mother have 2-3 children already. They don't want a fourth one. So in that case, if the mother becomes pregnant, that pregnancy can be terminated. So what are the conditions under which MTP can be permitted? The 3 conditions. The pregnancy is harmful to the mother or fetus or both. Then the pregnancy is the result of a rape. Then the unwanted pregnancy, termination of unwanted pregnancy. These are the conditions under which it can be permitted. Then, in which year India legalized MTP? In 1971. And the most important factor behind it is to prevent female feticide. Female feticide means if the fetus is female, is going to grow into a female child. There are some people in our country, there are some places in our country where the female feticide is a practice. So to control it, India has legalized it with strict conditions like this. These conditions permit MTP also. So, students, today we have discussed about medical termination of pregnancy. So, these are the 5 points. Intentional voluntary termination of pregnancy before the full term is called MTP, also called induced abortion. It plays a role in decreasing population that we have discussed. In India, MTP is legalized in 1971 with strict conditions. The conditions are these we have discussed. In some places, MTP is used with amniocentesis. So, such practices can be fatal to the mother also. So, with this, we have discussed the MTP. I hope you have understood. And in the next class, we will be discussing on the sexually transmitted diseases, which are called as STD. So, thank you. See you in the next class.